Society
it's like
is pretty much
creatively.
terrible.
I think that there's definitely a vacuum creatively when it comes to mainstream, because I don't think that, the way I'm going to phrase that is I'm going to say that the stuff that isn't mainstream, there's a lot of stuff out there that's really cool. But I feel like there's so much, like going back to that instant gratification stuff that you were talking about, like, 10 years ago, what we're doing right now, we wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we got this little board here that gets all our vocals or all our talking and all that fun stuff. And then we got iPhones, basically, that we're able to record video to. And then we have an app at home on our computer that just syncs everything together, and I just choose what angles, that probably would have taken months to do back in the day.
And tens of thousands.
Yeah. And
this was impossible, but that's exactly why the world is the way it is today.
It is because but what's cool about it too is that me and you are able to make our albums the way that we do, but we're not the only people doing that, and there's so many people doing that, and there's so much creativity out there.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing,
but it's almost like saturating the market in a way.
Yeah,
and it's hard for the stuff that maybe would have been like a little ambiguous, but like the nerds would have been like, oh man, I like that, and they all just kind of gather around and listen to it. It's like now there's a lot of that, so it's like it can even be even more hypersensitive as to which one you want to buy or which one you want to actually listen to.
Yeah,
you don't have the record companies like, hey, we're just gonna shove some Rush in your face or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just the example.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And it's a slippery slope, man, because it's given a whole lot of people the freedom to be creative, but it's taken the power of creativity away from creative people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
At times, I think so.
Yeah.
I think especially you could play a lick and not like it. Back in the day, you just had to kind of live with it after a certain amount of takes.
Right.
Nowadays, you could just be like, I didn't like that one.
Do it again.
I didn't like that one. Loop it again.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one. Loop it again. Because back in the day, everything was all analog, like the tape like we saw in the video that we were watching. So every time you rewound that tape, like you're rewinding it and the tape stretches and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and it becomes unusable. You can't do it, like that.
And nowadays, it's like just however much hard drive space you have, and that's all you got to worry about,
Yeah.
So that's
but like I said, it's a slippery slope, man, because that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yes. But like listening to Led Zeppelin albums, dude. Like I love the fact that those are not
perfect
precision, albums. I love the slop of them.
That's the one thing that I've always been gravitated towards, in a recording is hearing the imperfections, hearing sharp and flat notes, or hearing cuts. So one of my favorite albums of all, I love Eric Clapton. I'm an absolute Eric Clapton fiend. Layla, everybody knows Layla.
Yeah.
You listen to that recording and you can hear the punches in that. You can hear where they were doing vocal punches, and Eric would sing a line and they'd miss the punch, and he would come in halfway through, or in the beginning of the next syllable or whatever, or you can hear it doubled over, where the punch was too early or something.
Yeah, and what a punch is when you mess up and you go back and you re-sing it again and re-record.
Just a section.
That's what they call a punch.
Yeah, they'll play it, and then when it gets to a point to where you need to record, they hit the record button, and so you just record that part, and then they hit the record button again to take you out of it, and it plays the rest of the song.
Mm-hmm. So that's what he means when he says a punch. But that's pretty crazy, though. I didn't realize which version of Layla.
The original, the Derek and the Dominoes.
So I don't know. Is that the one where it's a little bit higher energy, or is that the lower energy?
Oh, it's very high. The lower one was the acoustic one from the early '90s, from the Unplugged MTV stuff.
Yeah, it took me forever to realize that was the same damn song. Took me a long time.
You poor guy.
Well, think about it. I grew up with both of them, and they're both kind of there, and it's just like, oh, that's Eric Clapton. Oh, that's Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Oh, they sound completely different. And then at one point, I'm like, oh, they're the same lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the same song.
It.
Okay.
Yeah.